Good morning. My name is Sheila Switzer. I am the program chair of the Association of the American Foreign Service worldwide, and I would like to welcome everybody that is joining us today for this in this beautiful and historic place of Benjamin Franklin Room. We are very happy to have you with us for the presentation of the Secretary of State's Award for Outstanding Volunteerism Abroad, for the Eleanor Dodson Award, Tragen Award, and the CCE-EFM Award and the Leslie Dorman Award. We are delighted to welcome many distinguished guests, the presenters, the guests, and especially the awardees. We are very proud of their achievements, and we wish you all the best. And I would like to also to thank you for joining us today to honor them in this special occasion. I would like to also to introduce our President Emeritus, Lara Center, for a few words. And I wish you enjoy this event, and I wish you a very happy, healthy, and blessed Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Good morning. It's so nice to be back in the Benjamin Franklin Room after several years due to COVID, unfortunately. So I just want to share a few thoughts. In my opinion, today's event is the highlight of the year. Today, we get the opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate this group of amazing individuals. As a former committee chair for SOSA and a past AAFSW president, I've had the privilege of being part of the selection committee for SOSA. Each year, I am blown away by the creative, selfless acts of our Foreign Service community. These individuals aren't out there making a difference because they want recognition. They are doing so because they epitomize the American spirit of volunteerism. I want to say a big thank you to the nominators for today's awards. Thank you for taking notice of what is going on at your post. Thank you for observing what your colleagues or family members at Post are doing to make a difference. And thank you for taking the time to write a nomination. This year, AAFSW received 23 nominations from 5 of the 6 regional bureaus, as well as nominations for the CCE-EFM Award and the Tragen Award. Think how many people are in the Foreign Service, then add family members to that total. We've only scratched the surface with this year's pool of nominations. Please honor a friend, a colleague, or a family member in 2023 and nominate them for one of these prestigious awards. My term as AFSW president ended earlier this fall. I am pleased to introduce the new AFSW president, Celine Erickson. Celine has been an active member of AAFSW and recently served as the committee chair for spouses in transition. This important committee provides much needed support to those in our community going through a divorce or crisis. In closing, I am confident that next year, once again, our community will nominate truly outstanding volunteers, active all over the world, and Celine will be as moved as I have been when she participates in their selection. Thank you. Celine.
Thank you, Lara, for your kind remarks. Thank you, Deputy Secretary of State McKeon, honorable guests, and ladies and gentlemen. AFSW Board of Directors, our members, and I are very honored to be co-hosting today's the Secretary of State Award ceremony for Outstanding Volunteering Abroad in the Benjamin Franklin Room. This ceremony is an expression of the significance of the strong partnership between AFSW and the US Foreign Affairs personnel and family members since 1960. The creation of AFSW in 1960 embodied the spirit of President Kennedy and Secretary of State David Dean Rusk's commitment to social justice, diversity, and equity. This ceremony reflects our will to support our family members when they cooperate and build bridges of understanding with the local communities we serve overseas. Today is dedicated to the valiant Foreign Service employees and family members alike as we celebrate their notable volunteer work. It is noteworthy to recognize their effort, especially during the pandemic, at a time when even humanitarian aid organizations could not deploy to disaster and conflict zones. Our Foreign Service community members kept on with their mission to help the most vulnerable. So many Foreign Affairs family members are conducting this important work today as we speak. We are privileged to have with us today 8 of them noted for their outstanding accomplishments. To reflect on the range of their effort, I can think of Justin Wimpy in Antananarivo, Madagascar. Justin designed a pressure cooker which he offered without compensation to a local metal worker and foundry, reducing charcoal use by local households and deforestation. In Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Carlos Valles has volunteered over 1,000 hours at the St. Luke's Foundation Carpenter Training Center, collaborating with at-risk young men. In Conakry, Guinea, Sonia Carolina Torres Lopez created a sustainable feeding program, supplying regular meals to over 80 children every day. Today, we will honor our 9 most distinguished EFMs during this ceremony. Today's celebration is dedicated to these Foreign Service employees and family members who do whatever it takes to make it work and to conduct the American spirit of volunteerism in so many forms, in so many faraway places. We will also recognize Alison W. Davis, recipient of the Tragen Award, Stephanie Anderson and Lauren Steele, recipient of the CE EFM Award, and Dr. Joanna Anthanapoulos, recipient of the Dorman Award. I would like to thank you for your kindness, attention, and attendance, and to wish you all a pleasant and enjoyable SOSA Ceremony Award this morning. Please join me to welcome Deputy Secretary of State Mike Keon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President, and thank you for taking on this role. Good morning, everybody, and those of you watching online. It's great to be in this room again. It's been mostly on lockdown for the last couple of years, so really excited to be here. It's my pleasure to join all of you to recognize the exceptional volunteer service of the 2022 Secretary of State Awards for Outstanding Volunteerism Abroad, as well as honoring the winners of the Eleanor Dodson Tragen Award, the Champions of Career Enhancement for Eligible Family Members Award, and the Dorman Award. Thank you to AAFSW for administering these awards and organizing this event. This is the 32nd anniversary of the SOSA Award. I was reading about the history of this. It started because former Secretary of State Baker and his wife Susan, she traveled with him around the world and saw the amazing volunteer efforts of Foreign Service community members and thought it deserved an award. So thank you to Susan Baker, and I believe the Bakers actually helped contribute to this day, to this effort. Since its inception, hundreds of individuals from around the world have received this award. I was honored to join many of you last year at Decor Bacon House. Mr. Danners, it's nice to see you again, to recognize the SOSA Award winners last year. The Secretary could not be with us today. He's been traveling literally around the world for the last week. He went to the climate conference in Egypt and has been doing a round of summits in Asia with the President. And he's literally flying back at this moment, but he does have a message to share. So please turn your attention to the video screen for a video he recorded before he departed on his trip.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us to celebrate this year's winners of the Secretary of State Award for Outstanding Volunteerism Abroad, otherwise known as the SOSA Award. I also want to thank the Associates of the American Foreign Service Worldwide and Diplomatic and Consular Officers Retired, DACOR, for sponsoring today's ceremony. but also for their decades of advocacy for our foreign affairs professionals and their families. The SOSA Award was established in 1990 with the support of Secretary James Baker and his wife Susan to recognize the extraordinary volunteer contributions made by members of the Foreign Service and their loved ones overseas. I see these contributions whenever I meet with our employees and their family members serving in our embassies around the world. These meetings are a regular reminder that American diplomacy is a team effort between our foreign and civil service officers, their partners, children, sometimes even parents, and our locally employed staff. In fact, of the 8 SOSA winners being honored this year, 6 are family members of Foreign Service employees. Family members are often our best diplomats, fostering bonds with local communities, frequently in places where they must build ties from scratch. Their work complements the official diplomacy being led by our Foreign Service officers. Both Foreign Service officers and their loved ones do this work without fanfare and without expectation of any award. They do it because they care, because it's who they are. Our SOSA awardees over the years have gone above and beyond by choosing to invest their time and talents in their adopted communities and changing the lives of their neighbors for years to come. In so doing, they demonstrate some of America's best values: service and compassion toward others. Each SOSA awardee this year has exemplified those values. Justin Wimpy designed an affordable, locally produced pressure cooker in Madagascar, where 97% of people use charcoal for cooking, which contributes to deforestation. His alternative cuts coal use by 75% compared to leading pressure cookers, and helps people, especially women, reduce their exposure to harmful fumes, which contribute to a variety of respiratory illnesses. In Chisinau, Moldova, Meredith Wiedmer organized 94 volunteers to provide more than 38,000 refugees from Ukraine, most of them women, children, and the elderly, with vital supplies like food, baby clothes, and first aid kits. She also created the Sunflower Center, an organization that provides trauma-based counseling for Ukrainian families, as well as arts, music, and sports programs for their kids. Jesus Carlos Velez has spent more than 1,000 hours coaching, mentoring, and teaching carpentry skills to underserved Haitian youth through St. Luke's Foundation in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. In doing so, Carlos has helped dozens of young Haitians learn a trade that will serve them their entire lives. The team of Dennis Raich, Michelle Raich-Tang, Vicky Daniel, and Ellen Lobb worked around a strict COVID-19 lockdown in Shanghai, China, as well as the transportation challenges it posed, to ensure that the entire embassy community had the food they needed. Other consulates in China are learning from their efforts, building their own food support chains to support their staff during COVID lockdowns. And in Doha, Qatar, Deborah Stock rallied colleagues, friends, family, neighbors, and other community members to collect supplies for Afghan refugees, including warm clothing, cooking supplies, and books. Her efforts inspired her son to adopt the cause as his Eagle Scout project, through which he collected more than 300 soccer balls for Afghan children. We're also honoring 3 other award winners today. Allison Davis, this year's recipient of the Eleanor Dodson Tragan Award, sponsored by DACOR, for her work advocating for the needs of Foreign Service officers' family members in the Africa Bureau. Stephanie Anderson and Lauren Steed, who are receiving AAFSW's Champions of Career Enhancement for Eligible Family Members Awards. And Joanna Athamasopoulos Owen, recipient of the Leslie Dorman Award for her exemplary lifetime service to AAFSW. At the 25th anniversary of the SOSA Awards a few years ago, Secretary Baker observed that the extraordinary spirit of volunteerism that runs through the Foreign Service community, in his words, tells a lot about America. He's right. Your dedication shows our country's recognition of the fundamental dignity of all, our respect for other cultures, our commitment to bettering the lives of people of every nation, even as we serve the people of our own. I couldn't be more grateful for your efforts. Congratulations to you and your families, and thank you for your service.
Okay, thank you very much to the Secretary for that. This year's winners really have demonstrated remarkable creativity and dedication to improving the lives of host country communities and our own Foreign Service community. Their volunteer work contributes to the morale of our people and advances our foreign policy efforts by creating goodwill in a host country. All of this year's SOSA winners have made significant and long-term impacts. Have you heard the Secretary describe the amazing things they did? They found a solution to reducing environmental and health damaging use of charcoal in Madagascar, helped desperate colleagues get food deliveries during the lockdowns in Shanghai, organized volunteers in Qatar to welcome and support Afghan refugees at Al Udeid Air Base, including by teaching and mentoring children, secured partnerships with international organizations and raised $200,000 for Ukrainian refugees in Moldova, and worked at-risk young men in Haiti to train and give them carpentry skills, leading to lifelong skills, but also creating valuable items for their own community. Allison Davis, the Tragan Award winner, was extraordinarily effective in Benin in addressing EFM employment equities and ensuring principles of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility were incorporated into the embassy's work. Allison, thank you for your advocacy on behalf of EFMs in your community. Our champions of career enhancement for eligible family member winners, Stephanie Anderson and Lauren Steed, have created important resources that have inspired Foreign Service EFMs worldwide to launch new businesses and think differently about career success. It's my understanding that among these resources is a podcast that you host called Available Worldwide that already has 30 live videos and more than 3,000 downloads in the first year. So thank you for your creativity and going above and beyond. This year's Dorman winner, Dr. Joanna I'm going to get this wrong, Athanasopoulos Owen, is a tireless advocate for family member rights, benefits, and services, including as AAFSW president from 2016 to 2020. So Dr. Owen, thank you for your leadership. I commend not only all the awardees, but all the nominees on their remarkable work and achievements. Your efforts are really a testament to America's volunteer spirit and demonstrate the creativity, commitment, and generous nature of our community. Your work reminds us that the Foreign Service is really a family business. You might choose your spouse. You don't always get to choose where you're assigned. Because your spouse is making that choice, perhaps for career reasons, or the department is in the rare case where we do a directed assignment, certainly in your first assignment. So you have to create a new life with your spouse or partner everywhere you go, learning a new language, new culture, new city. Where's the grocery store? How do you get around the city? It's an amazing sacrifice that people undertake. I think it's probably underappreciated even among colleagues here who have not lived through it, and certainly across the government in this city. My wife and I have lived in the same house for 28 years. I think it would take us a year to pack out all the things we've accumulated all those years if we were to deploy overseas. So I stand in awe of those of you who sign up for this life and undertake it. And for those of you who are doing this volunteer work, you know, you're creating a community or contributing to the creation of the community with the turnover every year at a post. Lots of new folks arriving, and you are sustaining the community with your efforts. So all of us in senior leadership positions here are humbled by your efforts, your commitment, and your sacrifice, both for what you do here and overseas. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We are really inspired by your words. And good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Dorsey, and I am one of the co-chairs for this year's awards, along with Moises Mendoza. My grandmother, who raised me, once told me, when the sun comes out for everyone. She also said, get ready. There will always be something for you to do to help others. What she really was teaching me is that no matter what our station in life, we all need somebody to lean on. And that's true. I think it is safe to say we all learn a thing or two from these 3 years. We learned to listen, to really listen, and to see others. One day, in 2004, while serving in Mexico, I looked out the window and I saw a small woman carrying her disabled 9-year-old daughter on her shoulders to get her to school. One of the very few, sadly, one of the very few special education schools in Mexico City. So I crossed the street and I talked to her. She explained to me that she had to carry her growing daughter on her shoulders because her family did not have enough money to buy her a wheelchair. She also told me that other children in that school needed physical therapy, hearing aids, medicine, glasses, and the list goes on. On that occasion, that was my call of action. So I responded by organizing others, raising funds, and building partnerships with the private sector to help. Today, we are gathered in this beautiful Benjamin Franklin room to celebrate the awardees of this year. You responded to social justice, conflict zones, spouse support, a pandemic, and even to challenges that needed attention in your own workplaces. For that, thank you for representing us so well around the world, both also locally. Thank you and your families, and especially those who recognize your exceptional service and took the time to nominate you. Volunteerism is infectious because it empowers us and bends the arc of history a little closer to equity and justice. When we help others, our communities grow stronger, get louder, and more visible around the world. So this morning, we are inspired and motivated by your service and the time you have taken to really listen and to look at others. That makes a difference. And that also reminds us that the sun comes out for everyone. Thank you.
All right, well, my name is Moises Mendoza. I'm co-chair of the SOSA Awards along with my colleague Jose, as he just mentioned. And I know you want to get to the main event, so I'm just going to say a few quick words. We're so very, very proud of our awardees and honorable mentions this year, and we're very, very happy that all of you are here with us as well. Now, before we get to presenting the awards, there are a few people that I want to thank. Of course, I want to thank you, Mr. Deputy Secretary. Thank you for coming today. Thank you also to our Director General who came, and to the many other dignitaries who are here with us today. Your presence really shows us how important volunteerism is to the Department of State, so thank you. It means a lot. It really does. I also want to thank our former AAFSW President and SOSA winner herself, Laura Center, and I hereby bestow upon you the title of Honorary SOSA Chair this year because you've been such a great mentor to Jose and myself over the last few months. We really couldn't have done any of this without you. Thank you also to Patricia Linderman. I'm not sure where Patricia is. Patricia, where are you? Thank you, Patricia. You've been a fabulous source of knowledge to us as well. I also want to thank GCLO and its employees who have supported this ceremony, especially Jason Pantaleo, who has played an absolutely indispensable role, and Gabby Hampson, you are really an important part of these awards, and we're incredibly grateful to you and honored to call you colleagues and friends. And finally, I want to thank all of the AAFSW volunteers who helped us with the ceremony today. Thank you so much for your help and for your service. Now to the awards, now to the good stuff. We're going to start with Justin Wimpy. Recognizing that 97% of Madagascar's population uses charcoal for cooking, Justin Wimpy sought a better solution, which would not only be technologically feasible, but highly affordable, produced locally and culturally accepted. Starting from a traditional local pot design, he created a pressure cooker, which he offered without compensation to a local metalworker and foundry. He also improved the manufacturing process and helped establish a woman-led business to market and distribute the pots around Madagascar. I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly. The Cocotte Minute Gassi, was that more or less correct, Justin? Okay, thanks. It's rapidly gaining in popularity in Madagascar as it reduces charcoal use and therefore deforestation, and it saves mainly women in Madagascar from spending many, many hours every day exposed to the health-damaging fumes of charcoal fires. Congratulations, Justin. Please come up here to receive your award.
Thank you very much, Jose. Thank you, Moise. It's an honor to be recognized with this prestigious award. I accept it today on behalf of the team who helped make the idea of the Malagasy pressure cooker a reality. Living in Madagascar, two things that struck me. One was the incredible amount of deforestation that occurs from making charcoal. You see it anytime you go out of the capital. And two was seeing women spend 8 to 12 hours a day cooking every day on charcoal. 97% of the people cook on it. The cook in me said, hey, if they had a pressure cooker, we could really cut down on that. And the engineer said, I bet I can design one from the local cooking pots. So I took a traditional pot made in Madagascar, and I tinkered with it enough to come up with a safe, simple, and robust design that could be made cheaply locally. Using a 3D printer, I made the patterns and molds for what would eventually become the prototype of the Kokap Manugasi. I got lucky, and I found a great team in Mr. Eugene and his wife, Madame Martine, whose family workshop makes aluminum pots. Their granddaughter, Unza, is currently our business manager for this project. And together with a marketing team there, we are building a distribution network and improving manufacturing. We're supported in the US by a nonprofit, the Be Local Group. They believe in sharing technology and know-how to empower local communities, finding local solutions to local problems. We've also partnered with groups building improved cook stoves and other NGOs with projects in Madagascar. So far, we've produced and sold over 650 pressure cookers, saving people time and money by cutting their use of charcoal by over half, which also reduces exposure to indoor air pollution. Because of the reduction in charcoal use, just these 650 pots will offset the emissions of 1,300 US cars per year for the next 10 years. We're raising money to expand production and import food-grade aluminum to Madagascar. There's still a lot of work to do, but this award encourages us to keep going. Finally, I want to thank my wife, Julia. Thanks again for the recognition, Deputy Secretary McEwen and the entire AAFSW. On behalf of my Malagasy partners, Ms. Hodja Betsaga.
Thank you, Justin. Next, we'd like to recognize our EAP winners: Dennis Rage, Michelle Rage Tang, Vicky Daniel, and Ellen R. Lob. In March 2022, Shanghai imposed one of the harshest lockdowns in the world in response to the People's Republic of China's largest COVID-19 outbreak, leaving the population without access to food and other necessities. Through networking efforts, the volunteer team organized wholesale food deliveries for U.S. direct hire staff and families and local employees of Consulate General Shanghai, some of whom had not had deliveries for many weeks. The team is now assisting other missions in establishing their own supply chain systems. If I may say one thing before I call you to the stage, Dennis has won several really big awards in the last few months, including a big AFSA award. So if you're looking for an OMAS, I think this is your guy here. He's a rising star, so congratulations to all of you. Congratulations.
That's a good picture.
It's always good to start the conversation with a job pitch. So I would like to thank, I would like to thank everyone at the SOSA Committee, Mission China, and EAP who nominated and supported our team during the most draconian lockdown of a major metropolitan area in mainland China. In March and April, like we've said, Shanghai went into what was supposed to be a 4-day to 5-day lockdown. 60-odd days later, we came out of one of the longest lockdowns on record. This unprecedented event led to collapse of the vital supply chains and created acute needs across our mission. With the help of our team within Mission China and Shanghai, we were able to step up and do what was necessary for our people, both direct hires and locally engaged staff. I am grateful that I had the opportunity, along with my wife Michelle and my colleagues Vicky and Ellen, who's here, to do what was necessary. It could not have been done without the leadership of Ambassador Burns and DCM Milley in Beijing, CG Heller and DPO Delk in Shanghai, who created the opportunities and laid the groundworks which ensured that we could lead on the problems at hand and have the great impact on our mission. There are a great number of untold stories from the lockdown, and I will carry with me throughout my career in the Foreign Service, and which truly enforce the pride I feel for the work that we do overseas. Many of our colleagues went above and beyond the call of duty to ensure American citizens and our employees had the support they needed throughout those trying times. One particular story that comes to mind recounts the heroic actions of our consular chief, Mike Garodi, and ACS chief, Cavallo, who in the finest traditions of the Foreign Service ensured that the passports, which have been pending for over 68 days of the lockdown, go to the American citizens wishing to and waiting to get themselves out of the city and the uncertainty of the extended that existed at that time. To me, this and countless others untold stories truly exemplify the dedication to the service and model of our commitment to ensure support to American citizens overseas, fulfilling the first mandate of our Foreign Service roles. And while our actions fall under the scope of volunteerism, I feel that they also reinforce the vital link between us and our mission, showing that we not only stand by to render aid to our colleagues, but American citizens abroad. To all, I thank you very much.
Next, I would like to talk about Meredith Wiedmer from EUR. In Moldova, as more than 460,000 Ukrainian refugees streamed across the border, Meredith was part of the leadership team at a donation center that provided emergency supplies like food, hygiene, and baby items to nearly 40,000 refugees. 1 month into the conflict, she realized the need for long-term support for refugees and opened the Sunflower Center, which is currently providing children's programming, psychosocial support for mothers, and employment to Ukrainian women. She was also interviewed by Anderson Cooper, if you want to know. It's pretty cool. She has also raised over $200,000 in private contributions and secured partnerships with international organizations in support of Sunflower. Congratulations, Meredith.
First off, I want to congratulate all of the other winners and honorable mentions here today, and thank you to the SOSA Award and for everyone for being here today. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Ambassador Kent Logston and DCM Laura Hubry of the Embassy in Moldova and Hannah Gardy, the Programming Director from Peace Corps Moldova, for this nomination. I'd also like to thank Mission Moldova, especially my husband and my children, for their continuous support of my efforts over the last 9 months. This award would not be possible without the funds raised with the support of my friends and family, many of who are here today, and their far-reaching network. As they mentioned, with their help, we've raised almost $200,000 that has gone directly towards refugees. I want to emphasize that I share this award with all of the volunteers I supported that worked alongside me at the Donation Smokehouse Center from March to April, that supported 38,000 refugees. The Moldovan NGO Family Federation, who is my partner at the Sunflower Center, and most specifically, the strong Ukrainian and Moldovan women at our center who work tirelessly to give back every single day to these women and children who are displaced by this conflict. I've been working for over 9 months on the Ukrainian refugee relief in Moldova. My house is only 2 hours away from the closer border crossing, and we're only 1 hour away from Transnistria, which is the breakaway region supported by Russia. Our house is shaken from explosions, and when my kids go outside and we're downtown, and my 5-year-old sees a drone in the air and asks, "Is this Russian?" I have to make sure they know they're safe. Moldova is currently home to almost 90,000 displaced Ukrainians, and on a daily basis, more and more cross with the fear of uncertainty of gas and electricity and the blackouts that are beginning to plague the border and these cold months ahead. Their fear of the unknown makes this work continue. This is why the Sunflower Center continues every single day and will continue until this conflict is over. We work on a daily basis with refugee mothers and children. While children are participating in early childhood development programs like art, music, and dance, their mothers are participating in psychosocial support with group counseling and yoga. To date, we've served up to 1,000 refugees, and on a daily basis, we welcome more than 50 children into our center. We proudly employ Ukrainian women who are giving back to their own community. I call them my family. They're like my family. I could not imagine my life without these women in my life today. I'll depart Moldova this coming summer, but the Sunflower Center will continue. I've worked over the last several months to secure long-term funding with international partners like Israel and Catholic Relief Services. I feel really fortunate that despite the uncertainty of the future, the Sunflower Center will continue to support these families. All of the community in Moldova in the Sunflower Center knows I'm here today. And before I left, Svetlana, our cook, came up to me and said, in Russian, with a translation, when you go home to America, can you tell them thank you? And if you see the president, can you please tell him not to forget us? I laughed. I said, I probably will not be speaking to President Biden on this visit, but I assured her that America is on their side and that we will continue to stand by their side until they can go home. Please help me today to keep that promise to Svetlana and her two daughters, Irina and Alyssa, and all of the other Ukrainian refugees that are displaced by this horrible crisis. Thank you.
Now, before we go to our next winner, I want to come back to EAP. My bad, I made a mistake here. I realize Ellen is here with us today. So Ellen, we'd like to invite you up to accept your award as well and say a few words. Congratulations, Ellen.
Thank you very much. Let me just get my cheat sheet. Thank you very much. I guess our colleague Dennis already gave you the background of the situation in Shanghai. So this was a team effort. I would like to thank AAFSW for recognizing our effort in Shanghai. And I would like to thank Shanghai Consulate General community in Shanghai, that this award is as much as for them as is for us. Thank you also for the support from Shanghai Executive Office and management team over there. John DeGori, everyone else who stays there during order departure, CG Heller, DPO Delk. I also would like to thank Albert Ofrecio, who was at that time acting management officer, for noticing all our effort during the lockdown. And for my husband, James Love, for the support. I would like to thank Mission China personnel. This is Americans and locally employed staff who donated their time and money for this effort during the most stringent lockdown in China. Finally, and perhaps what most important is that I would like to thank the American staff who remain behind in Shanghai throughout the order departure, throughout the very long lockdown, to ensure that American has a voice and did the difficult job and continues to support the mission in China. Thank you very much.
Next, we'll turn to NEA and Deborah Stock. Deborah Stock arrived at her first overseas post in Doha around the same time as a flood of nearly 6,000 Afghan refugees. Deborah immediately took the lead in organizing a variety of volunteers to help, spending her days and nights for months at the airbase. Her Doha do-gooders, as they became known, worked on the receiving line for incoming refugees and provided warm clothing, hygiene items, and other essentials, as well as children's supplies, including over 300 soccer balls. They organized fundraising events for the refugees, which brought the embassy community together. And they even created and furnished a school for the refugee children, where Deborah also served as a teacher and mentor. Congratulations, Deborah.
Thank you so much. Receiving this award is an honor for me and for the Doha do-gooders, which we did not term ourselves the Doha do-gooders. One of our chaplains did, who we fondly love, so we just stuck with it. The driving force behind the Doha do-gooders is here today. Sorry, I'm not gonna cry. And her name's Jackie from South Africa. Jackie's gonna stand up for a second and wave to everybody. Without her driving force, none of this could have happened. And so I'm so grateful for her. Thanks, Jackie. I landed in Doha in August 2021. It was our first overseas post. Me and my family, I had a teenager that hated me. I didn't have my family I didn't know how to live without. None of my own stuff was there. The culture I knew very, very little about, other than what I had read online. I was lost. Within days of the arrival, I received an email that the largest USG history evacuation of 58,000 refugees was happening in Afghanistan. Our Chloe, Rana, who I found many of you know because she's the best, started organizing donations. She was the start of me finding my way in Doha. I am so grateful the State Department is so conscious of finding a Chloe at post who is meant for that post. I love you, Rana. It started there as the embassy community could provide a small service due to their other mission commitments, and often the Doha do-gooders emerged to the needs. We worked side by side with the U.S. chaplain, providing clothes, personal hygiene items, blankets, shoes, and all the basic necessities. But as a team, we provided a smiling face, a hug to a scared child, a warm welcome to the United States. I left my country and my family for an adventure. They left theirs to save their lives. I was so humbled. I lost myself in the service. Many of Afghan evacuees do not speak English, and I do not speak Dari or Pashto. However, we were able to communicate through the language of love. The children I got to know through my volunteer experience at the Army base in Doha will go on and lead incredible lives in the United States. They deserve a new beginning and a bright future filled with opportunities. I think sometimes we forget the mission continues once it started. The DDG, which is the Doha do-gooders, is still providing a service of up to 4 and 5 days a week on the base, conducting holiday parties, children's activities, and collecting donations. The evacuees continue to come. We are grateful for an Army chaplain that supports us to continue the work, as there is still so much to do. The people I have gotten to know have profoundly touched my life. They have humbled me and inspired me. I can never truly thank these people for the impact they have left on me and my family. I'm grateful I was taught at a young age the importance of service by my parents. My family is the rock behind my service. Thank you.
Now our WHA winner, J. Carlos Valles. In Port-au-Prince, Carlos has volunteered over 1,000 hours at the St. Luke's Foundation Carpenter Training Center of the St. Luke's Foundation, working with many at-risk young men who learn under his tutelage to use machinery and tools and work as a team. Their workshop produces desks, chairs, and beds, as well as affordable coffins, which allow Haiti's urban poor to provide their loved ones with a dignified traditional burial. Carlos also works with the embassy community to collect and repurpose packing and shipping materials for use in coffin making. Carlos's legacy will include a network of trained carpenters who can earn a decent living and fill a critical need for these skills in the Haitian capital. Carlos, please come up and accept your award.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor for me to be here and represent the American Embassy in Haiti. First of all, I want to thank God to this award, to my wife for her patience and strength and her encouragement each day, and Nicole Tirot for nominating me. I also want to thank to all the embassy community for your support to collect donations and items for recycle and take them to the carpenter workshop and other projects for St. Luke's Foundation as well. St. Luke's Foundation is directed by a Catholic priest named Richard Frechet for more than 30 years. Father Rick recruits young people who live on the street, orphans, and others who have come out of drugs. Thanks to the embassy, St. Luke's Foundation received a grant to set up a carpenter workshop where we trained young people to becoming carpenters and make a better life for them and their families. In that shop, they learn to build coffins which allow Haitian urban poor to provide their loved one with dignified burial. Also, they learn to build kitchen cabinets, tables, beehives, and other woodwork. However, the biggest challenge faced in this society is insecurity and kidnappings, where criminal gangs dominate the neighborhoods apart from the poverty and misery that is experienced daily. Because of that, some guys cannot get to the carpentry workshop because the streets are blocked by these gangs when they are in protest, and now due to the lack of fuel, lack of food, lack of electricity, factors make it more difficult to leave progress and development of the Haitians. To conclude, I would like to share with you a phrase from Mother Teresa of Calcutta to reflect on. What she says: today it's fashionable to talk about the poor. Unfortunately, it is not to talk to them. And finally, I ask you, how can we fight poverty in countries like Haiti? Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right, I'm going to now introduce our honorable mentions to you. Sonia Carolina Torres Lopez, who I believe is here today, in Conakry, Guinea, created a sustainable feeding program using locally produced ingredients and local personnel for over 80 children who otherwise would have access to only one meal a day. Sonia, please come up to accept your award. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In Beijing, EFM Ling Elsie Conley provided vital daily visits and supplies to an incoming embassy family as they endured 9 weeks of isolation in a COVID hospital with the mother separated from the husband, son, and daughter. Ling is not with us here today, but congratulations to Ling. Okay, now Andre Hindle, who I believe is here with us. In Tbilisi, Andre connected the EFM and Department of Defense communities at Post and brought people together for volunteer activities, including classes for embassy children, blood drives, fundraising art auctions, events for over 1,000 refugee kids, and the creation of a donation center for Ukrainian refugees in Georgia. Andre, are you here today? Andre, please come up. Congratulations. We have 2 more honorable mentions to honor today who are not with us here, but we're very proud of them as well. We have John Wesley Kane, who volunteers daily at a hospital in East Jerusalem, connecting the embassy with the community and providing a lot of different help, ranging from direct caregiving in support of gender advancement to writing grants for the purchase of hospital equipment. And in Bogota, Colombia, Wiley Scarrett, who is now only 20 years old, has held benefit concerts and operated his own nonprofit foundation to provide scholarships for the children of fallen Colombian police officers. So congratulations to all of our SOSA winners and honorable mentions this year. We're very, very proud of you. I'm now going to invite up to the stage Mr. James Dandridge of Dakar, who will introduce our Tragan Award winner. Mr. Dandridge.
You have to watch that step. Deputy Secretary McEwen, President Erickson, ladies and gentlemen. Each year, Dakar, an organization of foreign affairs professionals, presents the Eleanor Dodson Tragan Award to a spouse, family member, or member of household who has effectively advocated for family members' role in community, as did the late Mrs. Tragan. This year, I'm pleased to present the award to Allison Davis of Embassy Cotonou, Benin. In September 2020, following the spring and summer of Black Lives Matter protests around the world, Allison Davis, Embassy Cotonou's expanded professional associates program, political assistant, was the chair of the Post Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility Office. Since then, she has worked tirelessly to ensure DEIA principles are incorporated in everything from editing the integrated country strategy to grant selection, to normalizing DEIA discussions with the embassy community via town halls or country team meetings. Allison effectively improved employment prospects for the eligible family members by convincing others in the embassy and the Africa Bureau that low-paying EFM positions coupled with an EFM workforce comprised of more than 2/3 spouses from underrepresented groups demonstrate the importance of treating EFM employment concerns as part of our DEIA initiatives. In short, Allison's tireless advocacy for EFMs and DEIA principles have changed the conversation throughout the Africa Bureau, as well as at Post, and has resulted in significant improvements in professional opportunities and inclusion at the embassy for EFMs who choose to work outside the home. While the most obvious and immediate benefit is to their families, the goal of more inclusive and equitable compensated EFM employment also will promote a more diverse workforce and important recruiting incentives for a hard-to-fill post that will benefit the mission, the Bureau, and the Department for years to come. Allison, I ask you to join me as I read the citation for this outstanding achievement. The Eleanor Dotson Trigan Award 2022, in recognition of her tireless work as chair of Post Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility Committee to ensure that DEIA principles are incorporated in everything that Embassy Cotonou does, in particular for effectively persuading embassy personnel and decision makers in Washington that addressing eligible family member employment inequities and pay gaps is a critical part of promoting the Africa Bureau as well as at Post, resulting in significant improvements in professional opportunities and inclusion at the Embassy of VFMs. Allison, congratulations.
It's a long citation. This is so great to be here with so many awesome EFMs. So I look forward to meeting you all after this. So I wanted to thank John and Jim at DACOR and my really awesome DCM, Karen Gustafsson de Andrade, and our management officer, Justin Steckley. I'll give you a little bit of the backstory behind this. So in Cotonou, it's not a very big post. I think there's 30 FSOs or something and EFMs. And I really got infuriated when we had an EFM employee who was working as our DCM OMA and our ambassador OMS for 3 or 4 months, and she was getting paid a third of what the ambassador OMS was being paid. And I just got so mad. And so I work in the political section, so of course, what do? I think, oh, I should go write a cable about this. And fortunately, I had the support of our management officer who, really explained all of the, HR mechanisms, I guess it's called GTM, hiring mechanisms, and, what kind of recommendations we could really come up with for the Africa Bureau, and help me write those down with the support of our DCM. So I'm very, very thankful for him and to her, and then also our close, who helped draft this as well, and helped me kind of collect everybody's stories from the other EFMs who'd worked at other posts, who had similar experiences. I think we still have a long way to go to make sure that EFMs receive equitable pay. I'm happy right now that our EPAP program is expanding, and I think in Cotonou now we have 5 EPAP positions, so yay, and we are not a big post, so other posts should do the same. And then finally, I guess I'm really just happy to meet other allies in this effort, and I really look forward to talking with the other awardees, especially Lauren and Stephanie. It sounds like we should get on your podcast. All right, so thank you again.
Congratulations, Allison. And John and James, thank you for all the work that you do as well. And now it is my easy pleasure to introduce Lara Senner, who will present the CEE EFM Award.
Hello again. I just want to give a little background about this award. The impetus of the Champions of Career Enhancement for EFMs Award is to encourage those employees and EFMs who go above and beyond specifically to advance the cause of EFM careers and employment. The award was created in 2014 at the suggestion of Bob Castro, a longtime advocate for EFM networking and employment and AFSW volunteer. Bob, when available, does present this award, but he's currently posted in Jerusalem, so I have the pleasure of doing so. This year, AFSW is excited to present Stephanie Anderson and Lauren McKinnon-Steed, the duo behind the podcast available worldwide, with the CCE EFM Award. Stephanie and Lauren promote career independence by interviewing EFMs about their career journeys. This bi-weekly podcast has had more than 3,000 downloads in the first year and gained a listener base across the Foreign Service. While the podcast's inaugural season highlighted EFM portable businesses, the second season has expanded to include EFM teleworking and running volunteer projects, showcasing other models of fulfilling careers. Both Lauren and Stephanie are posted overseas and are unable to join us today. They did, however, record some remarks, and I'd like to share them now. Congratulations to Stephanie and Lauren.
Hi, I'm Stephanie in London.
And I'm Lauren in Guangzhou.
Lauren and I began collaborating on Available Worldwide, a podcast by, for, and about EFM career journeys about 2 years ago. And in the unique way of EFMs around the world, we've never actually met in person. But we both share a passion for advocating for EFMs and promoting EFM businesses and careers.
We had heard so many great stories of EFMs finding and making their own career success, but those stories weren't well known, and so many other EFMs had had this lack of confidence in their own employability or professional identity.
Our own career journeys have been circuitous, like those of many EFMs. Both Lauren and I have worked within embassies, on the local economy, and we now run our own portable businesses. Lauren is an educational consultant working primarily with EFM kids heading off to college, and I'm an English language and writing coach working primarily with the foreign-born EFMs looking to level up their professional communication.
Our goal with the podcast has been to help EFMs reframe the narrative of career success, to let them know that a career of doing things you never expected to do, of striking out on your own or into new industries and skill sets is okay and even fulfilling.
We've heard from many EFM listeners that they find the stories they hear on Available Worldwide both validating and encouraging. They feel heard. We think it's important to continue to share these stories from our community to inspire EFMs as they strive to create meaningful careers around the world.
Steph and I want to thank the AAFSW for recognizing us with this award and for giving us the opportunity to share our story with you from across many continents.
So thank you again to Lauren and Stephanie.
Our final award today is the Leslie Dorman Award, which will be presented by Meta Beecroft, who, by the way, has contributed quite a bit to the SOSA Awards over the years and this ceremony. So thank you for that, Meta. Please come up on stage to present the award. Thank you.
We have finally reached the final portion of the program when the Leslie Dorman Award will be presented. As many of you know, the Dorman Award was established in 1993 by the AFSW to honor the late Leslie Dorman, one of the organization's most distinguished and accomplished presidents. One of her major contributions was the establishment of the Family Liaison Office, or GCLO, which unbelievably is now about 44 years old. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome Wendy Dorman, Leslie Dorman's niece, who has participated in these occasions before. Wendy, welcome back again. Since the award was created about a quarter of a century ago, I would like to consider for a moment the entire list of awardees who, taken together, represent many different backgrounds, accomplishments, and skills. They have in common their willingness to volunteer in Washington or overseas to accomplish tasks which they think are important for the greater good of our own community or for the host country. No one sought the limelight, and contributors preferred team efforts. There is also seems to be a growing understanding of the role volunteers can play overseas. As Secretary Blinken said in his recorded message for the last year's SOSA Awards ceremonies, the service of these volunteers, and I quote, demonstrates that the work of American diplomacy is carried out not only by foreign and civil service officers, but by spouses and partners who, I would add, are very important for the impression they make on our host countries overseas. Spouses are indeed partners in diplomacy, as the new ADS podcast series is actually called. The recipient of the 2022 Dorman Award is Joanna Athanasopoulos Owen, PhD, who has worked hard and effectively for the AFSW in many ways, which include establishing the twice exceptional merit scholarship, which makes it possible for a child to be recognized both for overcoming the challenges of special needs and for academic excellence. Joanna led the AFSW to success in its bid to be recognized as an employee organization and has been active in fundraising and public relations. Since Joanna is unable to be here today, she has asked Celine Erickson, president of the AFSW, to accept the award for her.
Thank you, Mette. Joanna has asked that I read the following message. Thank you all so much for this great honor. I'm truly humbled to be the 2022 AFSW Dorman Award recipient. Looking back at my service to AFSW, I'm reminded of this outstanding coincidence. The announcement of the election to be the AFSW president from 2016 to 2020 was published in the FSW newsletter of September 2016. The same issue which also published the announcement of the passing of Leslie Dorman in August 2016. I knew that Leslie was the FSW president from 1976 to 1981, but I had never had the privilege of meeting her. However, her reputation preceded her. When I read the announcement of Leslie's passing in the Global Link, I remember, I only wished I could make her proud of my contributions to AFSW while I served as president. Receiving this award today, it seems that I did. I am truly sorry I could not be present to celebrate with you all due to another important obligation, which was organized for today more than a year ago. Today, I am actually honoring 22 students who are receiving their own award. I really could not be away on their special day to be present here today for my own special day. I truly appreciate this amazing recognition for my volunteer service to FSW. Thank you all very much. And I would like to thank you all, Deputy Secretary McKeon and distinguished guests, for coming today. And we hope we'll see you soon again next year. And here is the end of this wonderful ceremony. Thank you very much.